Whether you're a techie person or not, it's pretty easy to fall prey to online scams. In fact, the American Journal of Public Health estimates that as far as seniors go, about 2 to 3 million American seniors are victims of online scams annually. The sad thing about that number is that it's probably pretty underestimated, because people who fall victim to online scams a lot of times are embarrassed and they don't want to report it because they don't want people to know that they were stupid enough to be tricked. That isn't the case. These scammers do a lot of things that look so legitimate, sound so legitimate, makes it very easy to fall prey, and they're getting better at it every year. In fact, the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, estimates that about 36 billion with a B is lost in online scamming every year. So it's not just seniors, it's everybody. So in this video, we're going to talk about the top 8 scams that tend to focus on senior citizens, what to look out for, what the scam involves, what you can do to avoid it. So stay tuned, you don't want to miss any of it. Hi, I'm Robin with SeniorSafetyAdvice.com. Tune into our channel every Friday when we release a new video with tips and hints about aging in place safely. Oh, and while I'm thinking about it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell that pops up, and that way you won't miss a video. So this video actually came about because we have a YouTube channel subscriber who asked us to make a video about this. The first thing that I'm going to talk about are phishing scams, and her mother recently fell prey to a phishing scam. So the thing about them, phishing scams, they're looking for your information. It's spelled P-H-I-S, fish, but it's phishing like fishing for fish, only they're fishing for your information. So what happens in this type of a scam is that the con artist sounds very legitimate. In a lot of cases, they contact you through what looks like either a legitimate phone number or a legitimate website or a legitimate email or text. In the case of our subscriber, her mother was contacted by what she thought was her bank, and the person sounded very professional, very authoritative, asked for her banking password, and she gave it to him. He ended up clearing out her bank account, and of course she's devastated. The good news about this is that she got in touch with the police. The bank is getting her money back. So she is a happy statistic, but a lot of people are not that lucky. So how can you tell if it's a phishing scam? First of all, you didn't initiate the phone call, they did. It's one thing if you call your bank by a legitimate phone number from your bank statement, but it's a different thing when they call you out of the blue and ask for your information. That right there is a big tip-off. Another thing is if you get an email that's asking for your information. I just got one actually today. I have a PayPal account, and I got an email. It came from something that looked very legitimate. When you opened up the body of the email, it had the PayPal logo and all of that, but it was telling me that my account was being deactivated unless I took a certain step in the next 24 hours. That's your next tip-off to a phishing scheme. If it's something that you have to do urgently in the next, hour, 2 hours, whatever, or your account's going to be deactivated, or you're going to be closed out, or whatever, that right there, urgency, is another sign that it is not a legitimate request. Going back to emails, if you get an email or a text, usually you can tell because there'll be oddities to it. For example, maybe it comes from wellsfargo123.com. That's not going to be a legitimate website. Wells Fargo would contact you with something that was wellsfargo.com, but they're not going to have anything extra in there. Another thing, I have seen emails that have come through in my email where either the language was incorrect. So it would be like, "Dear customer," or "Dear sir or madam," instead of me, "Dear Robin," because they don't know who I am. So they're just taking a shot. Or there may be something in the email or the text that sounds different than how a bank or credit card company would sound. For example, "Dear customer, please to log on to your bank account and supplement the password." You see what I'm saying? I'm trying to think of something, but you get my drift. That's not something that a bank is actually going to say, because they're going to be worded very specifically, very professionally. So those are some tip-offs for phishing schemes. The next scam maybe isn't technically online, but it is kind of sort of. It's a smishing scam. So a smishing scam is very similar to a phishing scam, but this one is coming to you through text. So I've gotten them myself through Wells Fargo, supposedly. One thing you can do is, if you don't have an account with that particular credit card or bank, you can ignore it. Obviously, it isn't really intended for you. It is a fake, but in my case, I did get one from Wells Fargo, and I do actually happen to have an account at Wells Fargo, so it looks legitimate. However, the thing about it is when you look at something like that, a smishing scam will come from a 10-digit phone number, the area code and the 7 digits, or a 7-digit phone number if you're in a smaller town. But when it comes from a legitimate bank or a legitimate credit card company, they use a phone short code. So it's only going to be 5 digits long. So that's a big tip-off right there. If it comes from a legitimate looking phone number, it's fake. And just like with the phishing one, the phishing scam, usually there's something wrong. There's all capital letters in your name, or there's a lot of exclamation points, or the wording just doesn't sound right. Going back to the phishing scam also, if you look at the email address that it was sent to in a phishing scam, a lot of times it'll be you and 50 other people or other email addresses that are also in there. Banks don't do that, neither do credit cards. So in either case, the phishing or the smishing scam, if you feel like you're think you should ignore it, but you're not really sure and you want to verify, do not use the information in that email or that text. Instead, dig up your bill or dig up your account statement. Get the phone number for the bank or the credit card company from that and call. And then find out whether or not you actually do have a problem with your account. In the case of the one email that I got from PayPal, I closed out the browser, went to a different browser, logged into my PayPal account just to be sure, and everything was just fine. So again, that is a way you can tell that it's fake and be 100% sure. But don't go off of what they sent you. You have to have a separate bill or statement so that you know for sure what you are calling is actually a legitimate number. Scam number 3, online dating. Everybody has heard about this, but so many people still fall prey to it. In the case of an online dating scam, they're listening to you, they're gaining your trust, and they would love to meet you, except for they don't have money to travel right now and they don't live near you, or something similar. There's some reason that they're going to tell you that they need to have money. Maybe they would love to come and see you, but they can't because their daughter just had a car accident and they have to straighten out the bills at the hospital. They're going to tell you something and they're going to get you to send money. And they may not get you to send a lot. They may do it over dribs and drabs over years. I was just reading about somebody who actually had this online dating romance kind of thing going on for several years, and the woman drained him of nearly $700,000 in his savings. Nobody in the family knew at all until he had a stroke, and the daughter ended up having to go into his account and found it out. So, just because they don't ask for an exorbitant amount right away doesn't mean they won't drain you over time. So be very wary. Fourth online scam is the catfishing scam. This is very similar to the online dating scam. Although they may not want to date you, it may not be that kind of thing. What they are doing is basically stealing someone else's photo, which is so easy to do nowadays. I mean, you can type in anybody's name, Jane Smith, and you're going to find photos online for a million people whose name is Jane Smith. So they're going to take a photo of somebody who looks like they're very legitimate, trustworthy. They're going to use that to represent themselves. And so you're going to think you're actually talking to this person who looks like they're trustworthy, and yet it's this con artist who may not look or sound or even be the same gender or whatever as that person. It doesn't matter. The point is, they're going to try and gain your confidence by using a photo of somebody that looks like they're trustworthy, and they're going to ask you for your private information. So be aware. Online scam number 5 is the grandparent scam. I don't know if you've heard about this before, but what it is a grandchild calls, oh my gosh, they're in a panic, grandma, and I mean, like, you can't even understand what they're saying half the time. They're crying, they're so upset. Grandma, I'm in trouble, I need help. Or, Grandpa, oh my gosh, I got into a car accident and they took me to jail. I gotta have money right now for bail. Or, Grandma, I went to spring break and now I'm stuck in, some other country, and I can't get home, and I need money for the airline ticket. Oh, help me, please. In this COVID pandemic, when you're thinking, okay, nobody's traveling to, whatever, Mexico on spring break or wherever, they actually have adapted, and what they're saying is they're calling up now and they're saying, Grandma or Grandpa, I've been diagnosed with COVID. Oh my gosh, I'm so sick. I'm going into the hospital. I need money to help so I can get into the hospital. They won't let me in without a down payment on the emergency room. Don't fall for it. They tend to call late at night when you're already asleep, so they're waking you up and you're confused. And you know how that is when you're awakened from a deep sleep like that. They're so panicked. You get panicked for them, and it doesn't even occur to you that this sounds nothing like your grandson or your granddaughter. So again, if somebody calls you out of the clear blue sky like that, the first thing to do is call that grandchild's parent. Call your child and find out, is their child actually in trouble? Are they actually traveling? Have they been diagnosed with COVID? Don't just give them money right off the bat. And what they're going to ask you to do is, no, Grandma, don't put the money into my bank account. I have to have a money order. I have to have Western Union. I have to have a MoneyGram. Something like that, because they're trying to get the money from you, not to actually have you put it into that grandchild's bank account. So again, that urgency and that thing where it's not personal. They want you to do something that is impersonal for an account. Don't transfer the money. So we'll see if I can compete with the train you hear in the background, but online scam number 6 is online shopping scams. And in this case, the perpetrators will set up a website that looks exactly like another website. Maybe it looks like, I don't know, Bed Bath & Beyond or JCPenney, I don't know. Anyway, it looks very, very legitimate. But there are 2 tip-offs. 1, whatever it is that you are trying to buy is so cheaply priced, you cannot believe it. It's like, oh my gosh, there's a diamond necklace. It's 2 carats. It's 18 karat gold, and I can get this thing for $100. Oh my golly. So you feel like you're getting such a good deal on this that you just can't pass it up. but that is part of the scam. The other thing is on a normal shopping website, when you go to check out, they're going to take your Visa card, your MasterCard, your Discover card, your debit card, whatever. They're going to take it in the form of a credit card. But an online shopping scam site is again going to want a money order, wired through Western Union, a MoneyGram, something like that, that is not your credit card. So that's a big tip-off. Online scam number 7 is those little tiny ads at the top of search engine results. So many people do not realize that when you type in a phrase, computer repair, especially on Google, the top few results that you get are actually ads. It says ad in teeny tiny print, but you have to look for it. So if you just happen to be, your computer is messing up and you're trying to get this in and find a number before it crashes or whatever, you may not realize that word ad is there. The fraudsters will set up fake websites and phone numbers, and then they'll place those ads hoping that you'll click on them. Most people click on the very first result. That's why those ads are placed there, because it's earning money for those search engines. So, and also for the people who, legitimate or not, for the people who are putting those ads up. But the point is, most people click on the first thing without really paying attention. We have a friend who had an issue with her computer. She fell prey to this. And here's the thing, she's computer savvy. So it just goes to show you that anybody can fall victim to this. But when she had an issue, she typed in whatever, AT&T service provider. What came up was an ad, but it was for a fraud. And so she didn't realize it. She called them up. She's thinking she's talking to AT&T. They tell her they need information in order to get into her computer so that they can repair whatever the problem is. She cheerfully hands it over to them, and only figured out about an hour and a half later, when they still were in her computer, that maybe there was something wrong. So she decided that she was going to close it out. So she said, I'm going to go ahead. I'm done with this. You haven't fixed it. I'll try again later. Oh, well, this guy came back and said, oh, well, we've worked on this for an hour and a half. You owe us $600. So she paid them the $600. And when I asked her, why would you do that? You knew it was a scam by then. I mean, that was what clued her in when they wanted that money. She felt like she had no choice but to do that because they had been in her computer for an hour and a half. So she was looking at it like a ransom, that if she didn't pay that money, they were going to go ahead and take everything, they had access to everything in the computer. So she gave them the money and then spent the rest of the day closing out accounts and getting new accounts and that kind of thing. But so be aware, don't click on the first result. If you need technical support of some type, get out your bill and call from the bill. Don't just Google the phone number. This is something also that is happening with things like Siri and Alexa and Google Home. People are asking them to just call AT&T technical support, and it's coming up with those numbers that are fraudulent as well, because those people have paid for ads so that they can come up first in those results on the devices as well. So be aware of that. Computer scam number 8, or online scam number 8, is fake technical support, since we were talking about that. But what this is you're on your computer, you're doing whatever you're doing, and all of a sudden you get a pop-up, and this window pops up and it says, oh no, you have a problem, your computer has been hacked, or we're finding fraudulent activity coming from your computer, which right away makes you upset and panicked. Oh my gosh. So when they ask you for your personal information, so you've got a password, whatever, so that they can get into the computer and fix the problem, you cheerfully enter it, and then they're in your computer and they've got access to all your information. So again, be aware of that. It's something that if you did not initiate it, it is likely a fraud. So likely to be a fraud. 99.9% chance that it's a fraud. Again, dig out a bill. Call your company from the bill if you really feel like it's something legitimate, and they will take care of it on their end. One thing I forgot to mention about this as well, the pop-up, is that even if you click on the link and never talk to anybody, they can be installing malware onto your computer, and that is going to go through and it's going to get all of your personal information as well. So just don't do it. What can you do if you were taken in an online scam? Well, like our subscriber whose mother was taken with her bank account cleaned out, the first thing to do is call the police. The police can begin at least the investigation. They can direct you if they need to different areas. If you call the police, make sure you call their non-emergency number. It may be an emergency to you, but it is not an emergency, so you do not want to use 911. So you should also alert your bank, because many times your bank can put a freeze on your account and, stop some of the loss. Maybe the scammers have gotten some things, but they may not have gotten everything, and the bank can put a halt to it real quick. Same thing with your credit cards. If your credit cards are compromised, you want to call the credit card company as soon as possible and tell them that you are a victim of a fraud. You may also need to alert the Federal Trade Commission or the SEC, or something, the FBI. It just depends on what it was that you were bilked out of. So I hope that hearing about these 8 online scams will make you aware of them and keep you from being the next victim. So thank you very much for watching this video. Again, please subscribe to our channel, hit the button down there in the corner and the notification bell when it pops up. If you have any comments, I hope you haven't been a victim of a crime like this, but if you have, we would love to hear your story. It could serve as a warning for other people. So please let us know in the comments below. If there's anything that you would like to see a video about, let us know in the comments below as well. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care. Bye.